The central banks around the world have printed more money than ever thought imaginable. The only issue is how they will reverse course. They know it's impossible. They've never done it before, yet they still persist that they will do this. Wow, this is going to be very interesting. You came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you. I have such an important video to cover for you today. I have been quoting an incorrect statistic for months, and now I'm going to clarify it for you. I have always said the central banks have been carrying $15 trillion on their balance sheets. You've heard me say that before. Well, I was wrong. It's actually, as of this time frame here, early 2018, it is closer to 21 trillion. It is far worse than the last calculation that was made. Close to $21 trillion that we know about. That does not include the Federal Reserve getting audited. They found $16 trillion. And all of the other central banks that are most likely engaging in the exact same secretive policies. All right, now look at the Federal Reserve. They have not increased their balance sheet for years. And yet, think about this, equities in the US have risen. Therefore, according to the mainstream financial media, QE was successful because they stopped printing, the market continued to rise. Well, that's a total lie. That's Exhibit A. But may I present to you Exhibit B, C, D, E, and F. The Swiss National Bank, Bank of England, Bank of Japan, People's Bank of China, and the ECB. What you have here are central banks around the world engaging in all of the same policies. Quantitative easing, printing up money out of thin air to buy either equities, toxic debt, mortgage-backed securities, maybe ETFs, maybe some government bonds. And they don't do so necessarily just in their own country. They may take their local currency and have it find its way back into the US financial system. And we know that they do this all the time. It is a fact. So one central bank not printing any additional money doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, because they all engage in the same policies. They are all doing the same thing. They're all linked together one way or another. They all find each other, and they will all, behind closed doors, make deals. They will all find their way to make sure that, if the Federal Reserve's not printing, we are going to print instead. And then if we stop printing, then you got to print. And that's what happens. Well, this here to me, it just keeps getting worse. These charts keep on getting more and more aggressive. The Swiss National Bank, as an example, they own so many Apple shares, it's not even funny. It's ridiculous. The ECB bailed out almost every major corporation in Europe, in the EU. The Bank of Japan owns 3/4 of the ETFs in Japan. And then we still, today is 2018, we are still hearing the stupidity that the success of money printing, the poster child, is Japan. What a silly notion. Absolutely ridiculous. Central banks are in retreat. 12 global central bank securities purchases. Okay, that's the claim anyway. So too is Chinese credit creation. Private sector credit creation. Okay? We're being told that this is on its way down. Okay? And again, here. So, this is what we're being told, that they are going to wean off of their central bank purchases. Now, I thought it was bad when we were coming from a rate of $15 trillion and downward. But no, we're looking at it from 21 trillion and down. How are they ever going to unwind $21 trillion? Even let's say $10 trillion, half of that. How are they ever going to make that happen? And I'm literally asking, this is not a rhetorical question. How can they ever unwind 10 to 20 trillion dollars worth of garbage and somehow not collapse the system worse than we've ever seen before? No central bank has ever unwound this amount of money anywhere near it. They've collapsed, they've defaulted, they've destroyed their currencies. That's happened. But never before has it been unwound in the way that they say they're going to do it. The Federal Reserve, if you look at their balance sheet, they spiked it up and they basically maintained this level here. And then I won't even be able to draw the minuscule amount that they've reduced their balance sheet by. I don't know if you can see that, but that's actually an exaggeration just to give you an idea. It's barely noticeable. And in fact, if you zoom in on a much closer view, you would actually see it goes like this. And so it's not really being reduced. They're suggesting it is, but it's a blip on the screen. There's no way. There is no way they're going to be able to reverse it. It's not possible. Private sector credit creation. You can see what's happening with China, but ultimately they're engaging in massive stimulus measures on all fronts. Interesting anyway. We know what central banks are doing. 12 global central bank securities purchases. Look at this. This is their claim. Claiming to decrease. We are going to see this. I would really love to see it. Why are we so slow to price that in? 12 global central bank purchases. Here again. Think about this. If this is going to happen, and we know that the stock markets have risen because of central bank purchases, why are we still seeing that trickle up? Why hasn't the market started to flatline and find its way, basically into that territory of, well, I'm not really sure, so I'm going to hang out here for a minute, and if I need to sell, then I'll hit that sell order and send it out. But that's not really happening. So something is really screwed up now, and it is all because of that central bank intervention, $21 trillion that we know of, into the economy, into the markets, I should say. Conclusion: strong markets can make a strong economy, and bubbles bring in new buyers. But what happens when the music stops? And they make a very good point here. What is going to be the result of all of this winding up, that rewind action, that unfolding action? Well, of course, there can only be one solution. You can either have central banks buying it up. Like, for example, if the Federal Reserve just gets rid of their balance sheet, okay, and they wipe it all out, or maybe half of it, or a little more than that, let's say 2, 3, maybe even $4 trillion worth, all that needs to happen is the Bank of Japan, Swiss National Bank, and the others come in, pick up the pieces. If they start buying US debt at that same rate, a few $1 trillion, they would be able to backstop the problem. It's not a problem for them, as long as they can just continue to print up money. And a lot of people would suggest, I've heard it before from many people, that in fact it's totally fine to print money. There are no repercussions to that action. And I would say, why in the world wouldn't the central bank print up $1 quadrillion for each and every person? You would be able to have all the money in the world. You'd go out, you'd buy 10 cars, 10 houses, you would start buying everything left, right, and center. You would be paying for new buildings to be built. There would be infrastructure everywhere. So why wouldn't they print up $1 quadrillion for each person? That is a question that I'm asking. Is the marginal cost now outweighing the benefit? Stylized view of the cost benefit of quantitative easing. So they're suggesting here that as time goes on, you will see that the truth show itself. So right here, for example, taking out the uncertainty, lowering interest rates, and the wealth effect on consumption. So, hey, we're seeing a good stuff coming here. Central banks intervening. It's awesome. Then, things I talk about all the time, distorted asset allocations, distorted incentives, ballooning pension deficits, growing inequality, and bank profitability concerns. And we have a big problem. All right, that's it for this video. I'm just going to touch on one more thing that I sent out to all the subscribers in the little screen that should come up on when you're scrolling through this website. But anyway, North America's largest real estate wealth expo in none other than the biggest bubble in the world right now, Toronto's real estate All Stars live and in person. You could register now if anyone's interested, want to come to Toronto to see a baseball player, a movie star, and a rapper talking about real estate. That's interesting. That's when you know you got a bubble on your hands. That's it for this video. If you found it informative, please give me a thumbs up. When you give me a thumbs up, it helps to support the channel. And last but not least, if you found this video informative, I know you will find my books, The Money GPS, and my newer release, Global Economic Collapse, even more informative. You can take a look through these books. Links are in the description below. Take care.